they want to go with on 3. Nami Azir, Nami Talia. Maybe we see a top lane lock-in of the Udyr K'Sante early on. It really feels like all teams are pretty flexible in terms of like what the other strong like blind pick they're willing to go for is. I guess it's just because it feels like there's so many trades right now, right? Like, it doesn't feel like you're losing too much if you lose Azir because there's all these other things that can just play into Azir. Same with K'Sante or Udyr. You're fine with just getting the other side of that trade.
Yeah, you certainly are. Nami taken. I feel like Azir, probably the predominant mid lane blind pick, but do it. I don't think they're gonna do it.
I don't know. Like, I mean, would Tianzhen play that? But like you said, right?
You've already got your AD carry locked in, so why would you want to ramp it?
I mean, it would have to be Tianzhen, right? You'd have to actually pilot that one. But we knew it'd be one of the soul lane power picks coming in blind. They do decide to go with the Azir, get that one in Cryi's hands, take it away from Ucal. Ucal has been one of the people who's been willing to pull out this Corgi pick. Also, could look for jungle here and kind of, take off sync the picks like we see so often. They are going to end up just going for the Aatrox here. Very surprising, right?
Yeah,
K'Sante, Udyr, both up on the table.
Surprised to see the Aatrox as like a blind lock-in here, but banning away the Jax, I assume they're going to ban away another top laner. And then I assume YSKM will pick either K'Sante or Udyr, whichever one was left open. But then it is YSKM. Maybe he's got something more interesting to go for. Fiora, historically pretty decent against the Aatrox. I'd be here for it. Yo, neighbor.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, there's the other interesting pick that it seems like they thought would have come out into the Aatrox. So really just trying to make it so YSKM isn't going to get onto a more favorable matchup. So far, YSKM has only played 2 champions. He's played Jax and he's played the K'Sante. Funnily enough, 100% win rate on the K'Sante, 1 and 2 on the Jax. But I think that's just nice growth to see, right? That YSKM is branching out and having a bit of a better time on some of these frontline tanks up in that top lane. But now it's up to TT with where they want to go. Mid lane is already showing, and I feel like we haven't seen a lot more of jungle last picks coming through. So things like the Akali's on the board. We've already hit on the Corki, that they just wanted to go that route. Wouldn't sync too well with the Aatrox, but it looks like they're valuing the priority on the Rel higher than just saving this pick for later.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the sort of jungle last pick tendency has been a lot around the Poppy, right? It's like, is it a Poppy angle? Can I get a lot of value out of the Poppy right here? And to be honest, I feel like it would have been a reasonable Poppy angle for TT, but deciding that they want to go for that final pick in the mid lane, want to see the full composition first. K'Sante open and available, would not be at all surprised to see YSKM go for that. We need our jungler. Xin Zhao, still up and available. Something that we've seen a ton of, but it's just, people have moved away now, going into these tanks.
Yeah, the Maokai. I mean, Maokai, our highest presence jungler here in the LPL. And you can still see why. I feel like Maokai is just so incredibly strong. Just how much the ult can dissuade, can turn the tide of a fight, can start a fight off. Like, so many things that he does well. And now, actually, going to get Ucal picked up on the Talia. I think this makes more sense than the Corki with the other champions you have around you. Like, really wouldn't synchronize that well with things like the Aatrox or the Rel, especially now. Set up really well to start finding some of these picks. So we said we wanted to see TT have, champions with some more tools on their hands in the early to mid game. They have picked that up this time.
Certainly have. We talked about the Talia already. We were talking in the context of Cryin, really, but certainly offers you a bit of pressure towards that bottom side. But look at this team fight composition for TT, right? Like, they have so much ability to kind of play around and control space with that Talia locked in, with the Aphelios that's more than happy to come back and fight. And then he's here on the other side, and Arn and Wink, I feel like, will have a fair bit of pressure on them this game to find a reasonably early lead. Obviously, 1xN and Chocho will be able to find priority at level 1, but once we get to sort of level 3 and onwards, Arn and Wink should have the advantage in that bottom side. And I feel like that is where TT need to find their advantage. IG need to find their advantages and maybe stack those dragons, maybe push through that bottom lane.
Yeah, a lot going to come down to that. I also have questions on top side, right? If we get another kind of lethality Aatrox coming through despite playing into a tank, and just try to snowball fast. I wouldn't expect that to happen, but I feel like we have seen a lot of people still go for lethality builds against tanks like quite often recently, and just try to pull ahead. So both teams going to be looking for early advantages. Both team comps, I think, very strong in some of these mid-game fights. Just about which one can pull forward. IG having the momentum coming into this series. So it sounded like there was a few more TT fans, but the IG fans were more passionate.
And or very close to the microphone.
Yeah, that's
some real loud IG fans right there. Yeah, definitely a passionate Gio. That is for sure. Will it be passionate gameplay? Is the question on everyone's lips right now. I'm looking at Arn and Wink. I want to see a good performance coming out from them. The top lane matchup as well, like you say, the blind Aatrox. See how that pays off for them and what kind of build he's going to go for. Does have that Conqueror, as you'd expect, up in the top side. But to be fair, I wouldn't be surprised to see TT going for a reasonably slow game plan, which, again, this is what we talked about coming into things. The slow game plan really didn't work out for them against OMG. I'm surprised to see that be their go-to call for this series.
I mean, I think TT have a lot of options to make proactive plays, right? So Liorel can easily lean towards bot. Hoya should have a lot of opportunities to move to once he starts making his way towards that first item mark. So TT having the tools this time around, just gonna have to be about if they use them. I like the early vision coming out from Ucal to set this up. IG have in my mind like what I consider to be like this would be the LPL comp right now. Cassante or Udyr, either one, but then Maokai, Azir, Lucianami, right? That is like the bread and butter of what is seen as our highest prio champs, and I feel like we're already starting to see why.
Yep, 1xN feeling the brunt of the strength of this bot lane duo, and we'll be able to crash that wave. Surprised to see the crash on the second wave rather than the third, pushing it a little faster than you'd maybe expect, but obviously fighting for that level 2. But realistically, I don't think there was that much contention really for the level 2 coming out from Chocho and 1xN. But either way, priority gained in this bottom side. We'll
also
see.
might set up for TT actually to start for the wave to be in a more neutral point when Tianzhen makes his way down towards the bot side. What if he's going to skip red? Okay, nope. So he is going to end up doing that. No, actually, he's just heading right there.
Going for a sort of shortcut play here. Tianzhen moving in. Rush open and available. Just drops the sapling and now is going to move back into his jungle to farm. So just trying to make sure that... I mean, this is one of the big values of Maokai, right? You can kind of shadow the lane without ever even having to be there. So drops the sapling to slow down anything from Beichuan, allow his bot lane to pressure, and then can move back in and farm.
Yeah, just lets him safely get it in. Oh, okay, luckily not going to end up canceling the Lucian recall. We know going for this early recall going to be able to pick up that support item, start generating some more income. So far, just very tempered game, but small things like that could be the difference makers, right? I mean, hell, that sapling doesn't come through. You aren't looking for the recall. Gank could come out through Beichuan at that time. So I like IG doing their due diligence so far.
So far, so good from IG. Again, this is a roster with quite a few newer players. When you think about this roster, like Tianzhen, YSKM, I mean, even Arn to some extent, although he's got a bit more longevity than the others, but realistically, like, it's not that long ago that Cryin was a newer player in the LPL. I just feel like this is a roster of kind of developing talent to some extent. I'd say Cryin definitely the veteran alongside Wink there.
Wink, yeah. Yeah, both having been around for a while. I mean, Wink being the long-time one. Cryin coming in 2020, which, I mean, still, it's funny because that doesn't sound that long ago, but it's like, man, my God, that was 2020 was a little bit ago now. So Cryin definitely having the experience.
I mean,
under
this is his
belt.
4th year in the LPL now. It's kind of crazy to think about, really. But yeah, I mean, we were literally talking about that RNG roster earlier on today, where xiaoyueji played in the top lane. This man's twisted fate changed everything.
Hey, and as well as the Annie, right? This guy was the Annie. Yeah. This guy was the Annie aficionado.
It's like, does it have a stun at range? I'm playing it mid. That was basically Cryin's motto.
hey, next patch, we might see Cryin do big things. Get more of that TF coming through.
Yeah. I know, TF does a lot of damage, honestly. Like, TF is kind of scary right now. If you go first strike, the burst damage that you can bring out from a blue card, you can basically one-shot squishies. It's mildly terrifying. I'd be well up for seeing some of that in the LPL. It's also really hard to miss your ult as twisted. Fake dash onto the stun! Cryin forced the flash, dodges away from the flick back, but kind of achieved what the flick back was going to do for them.
Yeah, and that's what we said, right? I mean, even though Cryin has been a rock for this IG squad, I mean, you're going up against Ucal, who, despite their last series, just look at Ucal's tenure on TT so far. He has been an absolute stud against some of the best of the best.
Flash in from Tianzhen, but the bubble not quite there in time. 1xN gets a 3-man route. Beichuan not arriving quick enough to actually capitalize. Close one down in the bottom side. The bot to gone. Kicks off as it's meant to. And we'll see what can come of this one. TT happy to start the Drake. There is a control ward in the back of the pit, but I don't think they mind too much.
No, I mean, you can see Cryin having to catch waves in mid, bot lane. Okay, so they're still going to try and find an angle. Emperor's Divide is up, which will be a bit more useful than the Weaver's Wall here.
Stun comes through, the bubble is there, but the flick back is gorgeous. First blood for 1xN. Cryin flies through the play though, but Beichuan's still going strong. Crash down, flashed away from On, still alive as Cryin falls. 1xN so low on HP, double kill for him as On tanks so much to make it happen. It's an absolute massacre in the bottom side, 2 for 2.
You're going big both ways. We're gonna see. Honestly, I'm kind of at a loss for words just because of how slowly that play ended up coming through. TT are the ones who end up getting Dragon, so they're gonna be fine with that. But we get the pincer movement coming on through. TT used this opportunity to just engage right on top of Beichuan. They find that one, but it takes Cryin a while to get here. So Azir comes in by himself. It is a great ultimate to come out, but also leaves the Azir in no man's land. So you know Cryin's going to go through, and then TT going to be able to find one more to be able to cap this off. So actually going to be in slight favor of TT coming through with that one.
Yeah, 3 for 2. It's just quite a long scrap.
Yeah.
Tianzhen had already respawned by the end of the play, which is kind of funny to think about. But both AD carries crucially picking up 2 of the kills either side there. IG being able to go that close to even in a fight where they're permanently a man down is kind of impressive, honestly.
I mean, just one of the differences being, right, you being on the Azir in that situation, being able to bring your ult as compared to, like, what could the Weaver's Wall really do when Ucal is already there? You can't even try and separate off the Azir because then he could still just fly over the terrain. So, nice moves coming out from trying to set that up. Like you said, now on in 1xN, the players were watching. Great bubble from Wink, but can't follow through.
Nicely played by IG here. Oh, just over the wall, but flick back! Ucal, that was gorgeous. We talk about the Taliyah making an impact, and Ucal shows us exactly how it's done.
And I feel like Taliyah's just been faring incredibly well in the few games that we've seen her. Oh god, IG might give over more.
I don't know about this one, lads. Wink is stepped way too far forward. Tianzhen trying to slow, but he's going to be flicked back as well. Can they finish this one? Caliber Q goes wide, but it don't matter, because Ucal is taking this game into his own hands.
The carries for TT are coming in strong. What a beautiful performance so far from ThunderTalk on trying to cancel. And me and you were talking about this before broadcast today, that it feels like once you get past like the top like 5 or 6, any of these teams really can just beat anyone in like dominant fashions. It is so strange. It's TT's turn. We're getting a replay of what happened here, but honestly, just I don't even overzealous even just feels like a bad word when it's like, hey, Ucal literally just walked in that brush. He just walked there. He's still there. There's no way he was calling in that time. He's not TPing anywhere else.
It's like, it's not about zealousness. It's about, like, object permanence. You just saw the dude. I don't know where you thought he was. Yeah, bit of a weird one. But hey, TT happy to capitalize. And I wish we'd got a replay of the actual initial play of Ucal roaming down with the Weaver's Wall. This is exactly what we wanted from TT. And you know, I have to eat my words. I said, TT, bit of a slow composition. No, absolutely not. You're absolutely right that this Taliyah changes everything and them having such an impact on the map. And now Beichuan moves into the mid lane. I don't think they'll be able to find Cryin here.
I feel like we're getting baited a lot by like mid laners having prio and having opportunities to impact the map. But again, for whatever reason, maybe just because it's the start of the season, like there hasn't been a lot of practice yet, we aren't actually seeing teams use their prios and pressures all that much. It's now good and surprisingly good. Finally, mid laners. We had it in our last series with Cryin.
Yeah.
We're having it now with Ucal. Like finding impact on the map, and not just leaving yourself to be isolated in that 1v1. Look at all the vision that TT have around that mid lane, especially. It gives Ucal so much freedom to just move where he pleases.
Yeah, ton of vision, both sides of the mid lane as well, and some of it will be spotted by Tianzhen there, but he didn't get the ward that is right next to Raptors there. Scry's Bloom didn't quite spot it, so he'll be able to clear some of the vision, but not all of it. Full information here for the side of TT on what's going on. But I mean, like, let's just take a second and, you know, we're talking about the way that TT are playing around the map and how this is all going, but just look at the actual scoreboard. 303 on Ucal, 313 on 1xN. He's already got his Kraken Slayer plus a crit cape. Ucal,
6 grubs.
well on the way to his first item, and that's with a 5-stack Dark Seal and his tier already stacking. Like, it's just too good.
Yeah, I mean, carries are huge. You have about a 1.7k gold lead. You have six grubs already, so you're really going to be hammering down on these turrets if you get in a position to push them. It looks like TT don't want to ease up on the pressure, so for now, just going to use that to be able to pivot into an easy dragon. But with IG's bot lane keeping up pressure, they're going to have to be careful, but we can see on the minimap, Tianzhen has no want of taking the scrap. Just wanting to chunk 1xN low for now.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to go any further than that, as the Graviton finally got rid of for 1xN. He's been trying to cycle through that for a little while now. But the Severum will be welcomed with open arms after that culling hit him. He'll be able to sustain up a little bit in that bottom side. Yeah, 2,000 gold lead almost, or 1.5, I suppose, in favor of TT. We'll see what they can do with it. Like you mentioned, the grubs picked up. Not the greatest grub composition here, but I mean, still just nice to have. And even after a fight, when you're going through the towers, still helps you push on through.
Yeah, of course. And it's nice. Yeah, nice coming out from 1xN, but also Hoya is going, the Profane Hydra, so going to be playing to try to find access onto those carries of IG. Has plenty of engage to be able to set it up. I can be able to find some advantageous trades right now, but when you're going up against Bramble-plated steel caps, ooh, TP's coming through.
TP in the bottom side, 1xN, can he escape? Chocho's knocked up, but Cryin wants the AD carry as well. Flashes to guarantee the ultimate. 1xN low, but he actually trades it. Somehow he's pulled that one off, and now the crash down from Beichuan. Chocho moving back into the play. Cryan's gone down, and TT come out ahead once more. Here comes Ucal, the cavalry has arrived. The knock back into another kill, and TT come out on top again.
TT, once again, able to get more members to this play before IG can answer. Thought things would be good with Cryin investing the TP down, but again, the game just exploding even further into TT's favor. And now that people are dead, you're going to be able to see, I guess we're not going to see, Ucal's going to use those mites. A lot of damage down, but heavy trading comes through. Sadly, the bubble not able to land. Sure, Chocho ends up getting locked up, but with Chocho's ultimate, as well as the cleanse, like, my god, just the sustain on 1xN is huge. And then by the time Beichuan gets here, great Magnet Storm to guarantee that he locks up Cryin.
Yeah.
Look at Talia, just so many tools to be able to maneuver through. I guess the most surprising part of that is the fact that the Aphelios found a kill as well.
Yeah, I was looking at that specifically as Ucal has to flash away. YSKM is trying his best, buffers it, the slow coming out. Ucal solo killed, and that is a 450 gold bounty picked up. 750 gold into the pocket of YSKM.
You're going to love getting that gold injection, especially on the tank. He's going to be able to soak up and eat a lot of this damage that Ucal and 1xN are throwing out. Does present an opportunity for IG to get control over mid and top to set up for that Herald. Ucal doesn't have TP, so I'd be surprised if TT end up posturing for this one, but YSKM can't join either, so this could just be an outright 4v4 if TT do decide to take it.
Yeah, I'm trying to get some damage down preemptively as the Herald started. IG desperate to get some kind of objective here. They're falling behind, the 2,000 gold down. The shutdown for YSKM has closed that gap a little bit. The roots come on through. They will be able to grab that Herald for themselves. It looks like we will defuse. Larry, I just want to quickly say, I feel like the LPL is back. You know, the last
Stop
few
it.
days, we've had some
Stop
real
it.
slow games. But today, the games are delivering. We have had non-stop action this morning.
You know, I just feel even worse for Nightmare and Mazel about you saying that after the day that they had yesterday. A long day of games. Not saying anything about the quality of games, right? But just 9 whole games.
Yeah.
I've actually loved tuning into Kelsey's stream and hear her saying like, haha, LPL always gives 3 games. And I'm just like, yes, keep jinxing it. Keep making sure we don't get those 9 games. But, you know, they're bound to come. Bound to come.
They had long old days. Nightmare and Mazel, absolute troopers yesterday. And I feel like it feels a little bit unfair that we got the top esports RA series this morning.
Good.
Like the
Good.
fastest
Let it be
2-0
unfair.
of the entire split so far. And then later on, we've got BLG versus EDG as well, which, you know, I don't want to over-predict something, but let's be real here, lads. That should be a relatively quick one.
Sounds like a bit of an assumption coming in about EDG, Munchables.
Yeah, it's not so much an assumption when I've seen it in action.
I guess to be fair, you know, even if we just went with results-based analysis, one of those teams is 3-0 and the other one is the actual reverse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who knows though? Maybe they can pull through. Maybe they can pull through.
Do you know, I was thinking about rosters earlier. I was looking through the LPL, and you know, everyone's been talking about Knight going to BLG during the off-season, right? And how exciting that is for BLG, blah, 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 blah. Very cool, very nice. Knight is quite good at the mid lane. I might have to hold this thought. I really don't want to, though. I was talking, guys. Drake's coming up. I picked a bad time to start this. I'll come back to this in the BLG series, okay? We'll talk about this during BLG. Herald going to get the charge in the mid lane. YSKM dashed onto... Wait, did he accidentally pick up the Herald? Yeah, that's a crying emote. Yeah, he did not mean to grab that Herald. On just right-clicking while in the culling and accidentally jumping aboard the Herald here. Hoya's on the flank, big fight going through. qiuqiu already having to use the ult, but Hoya's just not tanky, but neither's on, and he fails the flash, still survives, only just as Cryin now flicks 1xN into the action, and on barely surviving, but survive he does. Cryin goes down as YSKM finishes another one, and IG find themselves back in this game. Dragon taken, Tianzhen flashes to get Ucal back into the fray, but YSKM might feel the brunt of that one. On jumps on in here, big damage available for them, but they can't quite finish it. There we go, on with another.
In a game that felt solidly in favor of TT, that was just, again, going to be potentially a slow burn on its way to ending now. Complete standstill, 5-3 on the Lucian. We highlighted how scary this Cassante would be earlier on when he found the solo kill over Ucal. Now it's going to only be even scarier. And just, yeah, very fragmented engage. YSKM just able to walk right up and just ult qiuqiu towards his team. And like you said, Aatrox nowhere near as tanky as the Cassante, right? He's sitting on Profane Hydra. YSKM actually sitting on core tank items. And then beautiful Emperor's Divide coming through from Cryin just really seals the deal. But it's kind of funny when top lane hasn't been really a present thing in this game so far, where it felt like top lane made the difference in this team fight.
It really did. And the fact that Arn survived all of that is honestly miraculous. Like, he spent the vast majority of that fight on 200 or less health, and somehow the sustain coming out from Wink, the actual summoner heal as well from Wink, the honey fruit coming on through, everything there. Keep him alive. YSKM, he's been too much of a problem, and TT have decided it's time to solve that problem. W used, all out used, and I think he's got away with it.
I mean, he's just huge, right? Iceborne Gauntlet, Thorntail, plated just yield caps. Like, now they're pretty much always going to need Ucal to be around if they have any hope of killing him. Hoya's not going to do anything in regards to that Cassante by himself. And yeah, it's gonna give IG, I think, a lot of time to like figure out what they want to do and have a bit of relief in knowing that their Cassante is going to be fine. And again, really, who is going to damage this guy? We're going to be waiting on 1xN to have like Lord Doms before YSKM even knows he exists.
Yeah, but we're a while away from that one. 1xN looking towards likely an IE, could be a Bloodthirster either, before he can go towards that Armor Pen. Honestly, in hindsight, it could have been worth even going LDR second here for 1xN just because of how strong YSKM is getting. We go roots underneath the tower here. Don't know if it's going to achieve all too much. Everyone just about dashes away from the Weaver's wall before it comes on through. But that will be enough to defend the tower.
I'm actually even surprised that Ucal was willing to follow that one through. I thought the members of IG were just going to wait for him to, like, pass right by and just look for the engage. What could Ucal have done? I mean, does have flash, so might have still survived. Would have been a loss of a summoner. But there it is. The IE that you just hit on, 1xN has picked that one up. So going to be able to do an incredible amount of damage to some of the other members of IG, just not the Cassante. And now look how confident he is.
YSKM wants the 1v1. Hoya dashes over the wall. This is the knockup though. YSKM is not afraid of that tower. Another solo kill. And YSKM, he wants an MVP today and he does not want a loss.
No, he's just huge right now. That's why we were kind of questioning what direction Hoya would go. But it feels like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what's on the opposite side. The Profane Hydra, the lethality, the armor pen, it's just too tantalizing. But we're going to see here, YSKM waits him out. And I just don't know what world Hoya can really do any damage to YSKM right now. Follows through with the ult. You even just see here how tanky he is. The fact that he does not care about tanking any of these shots. And hell, that's even with the ultimate being popped.
Yeah.
Losing some of that tankiness.
I mean, the thing is as well, like, he's playing against the lethality Aatrox in the top lane. Like, look at his items. It's pure armor through and through. So it doubles up in the ability to dive, right? Because you have so much armor anyway. Towers do physical damage. Very easy for him to just waltz on in. He took like 3 or 4 turret shots in that engage and realistically took basically no damage from them.
I mean, it has to be a Lord Dom's next for 1xN, right? Like there's no world where you can build anything else. Is this where we're gonna see another Ghost Blade come out?
Surely not. Surely not at this point. 1xN tanks the Cullen, but he's okay. There's a cozy campfire there. He'll whip out his guitar and sing some songs. Maybe toast some marshmallows. But in the meantime, there's a siege. It's literally Troy in the mid lane. And Arn, he's Orlando Bloom. Wait, no, I think Orlando Bloom's on the inside of Troy film. I don't know if you've seen that film.
It's been a while.
I'm pretty sure he's on the inside, so maybe 1xN is Orlando Bloom.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest, I can't remember it well enough to
me neither.
anyone else that's in it.
1xN
is Helena.
yeah, we can go with that.
Flick back, go slightly wide, on charging forwards, and Beichuan just ain't that tanky yet. 1xN knocked up by tidal wave as well. They're okay. There's a few ultimates burned, including Chocho's to get that sustain and the cleanse across.
We've had a lot of like moments like this where one member of a team just kind of like walks up to the other one and it looks like a fight will break out, and everything just looks very awkward for both teams. It's kind of a situation one right now. TT trying to make IG feel that awkwardness by pulling them up towards Spare, and they have no vision here.
Yeah. It feels dangerous to start that though, and I think IG calling them out. Great little engage. Chocho's down, Arn is down as well. Not Arn, sorry, 1xN. Beichuan chased as YSKM tears through them. Hoya, that's a good amount of sustain. Takes out Arn, almost took out Wink as well. Not a bad little counterplay, but I mean, it's not enough. 4 for 1.
And now gonna be able to turn to the Spare. It looks like they're a bit hesitant with how low Wink is, but I think they have the damage. They have the front line there in YSKM. Ucal gonna do his best just to get a bit of damage on this turret. But my God, Munch, again, these situations are just so strange. I mean, I assume we're gonna get a replay of it in a little bit, but it's just Tianzhen just putting down his ult, and it just seems like TT didn't consider that a possibility, because look how easy this was for IG. There's really no like special mechanical play or cool interaction here. It's just Maokai ult comes down, they aren't ready for it. Beichuan's off to the side as the one who kind of should be eating that and frontlining for them, and they just weren't ready.
No, they were absolutely. I mean, the whole play, the whole sequence felt a little lackluster, right? They moved over to Baron, but they didn't even toy with actually starting the Baron. It all felt a little bit wonky. Here we go, though. YSKM just jumps into the midst of everyone. Beichuan is annihilated. Drake taken by IG. And I mean, this is just brutal to watch now. YSKM is taking over individually, and IG are more than happy to follow in his wake.
And again, Beichuan having another kind of rough game on the rel. TT have showed us they can have solid early games, but once you get to the mid game, it just is not the same. IG on the opposite side, though, I really like how we've seen them play out the like past, you know, about 10, 15 minutes of the game. They've been waiting for their opportunities. They haven't ignored, you know, catching some sides or making sure they can deal with the Aatrox, and they've constantly been looking for picks.
Oh my days, Hoya! He's actually going to go down. No, Cryin misses the ultimate. And it means Hoya's still alive, tower's still up. Cryin, 1 HP, but walks away with his life. TT, you can't overstep this. They are behind still, remember. And YSKM, 3 items on the tank already. You do not want to overstep.
No, and it's kind of, funnily enough, seeing this sequence reminds me of us talking about the bot lane earlier of IG, right? Saying that they're always willing to go in. It has been hit or miss. We've seen them dumpster teams, like, even in past splits. We've seen them get dumpstered themselves. It feels like even the philosophy in the team the same way, right? Top side, they see the opportunity there. On creates it for himself. Some of the other members, people like Cryin, like, hey, let's see if we can get it, but put themselves in such risky positions by doing so. Love that way of playing League of Legends, even if it could end up fighting IG backing in.
We've got almost a kill a minute in this game, and I am loving it. YSKM, the Hexgate engage as Beichuan will just about get away with his life, but that felt a little bit dicey. Drake not for 3 minutes. We're just fighting around the Drake area for the banter.
And not gonna be able to find anything, and now, I mean, with the Lucian on 4 items, what can TT even do? IG should just be able to see this down. Gonna have to get good use out of that culling again to just push them off turret, potentially set up for maybe even Tianzhen's ult and be able to finish the structure up. But Hoya's looking for a flame.
Here we go, Ucal's there as well. Wink is caught in the corner, but it's on the target that they really want, and Hoya annihilates that health bar. Wink will go down too, and TT have themselves an opportunity. Everything was going so well for IG, but they found the play where YSKM wasn't involved.
Great by them, right? Finally realizing they need to start looking for these picks, using things like the Weaver's Wall. I even like Hoya being able to wrap around from behind. So now going to be able to buy themselves a bit of breathing room. They are still 2k gold down, but you'll take this any day of the week. Taking this gold off of On. Nice sidestep of the bubble. And I mean, now there's just nowhere he can go, right? Locked in alone against these guys. I like the attempt on the flash, but when Hoya has his as well, it just makes it easy for TT to find that one. Now it's about if TT can find any more.
We'll see. And I mean, you know, Hoya, he's still going for that lethality. And at this point, when you're one-shotting carries like that, fair enough. Just ignore the front line and go trading backlines, essentially. He's headed towards his Sherildas as well. Like, he's actually getting to a scary point in the game where, realistically, you're essentially an assassin on that Aatrox.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have the mobility of an assassin, but you do the damage.
Exactly, but I feel like that's the problem because we saw how that played out. I believe it was in the first team fight, right? Where even if Hoya's flanking, if YSKM just jumps into the other 4 members of TT, he's going to buy all the time, right? And Wink and Tianzhen are going to be able to peel for the solution, and he's just going to get melted down. So it's going to be a lot about how they're coordinating the flanks. It has to be with Ucal locking someone out with the Weaver's Wall. And more importantly, I feel like it needs to be while Beichuan's also finding some sort of engage with that Magnet Storm. If it's just both top laners jumping in, we know IG are going to win those types of fights every single time.
It's kind of funny, really, because I feel like Ucal would love like a kind of slow, drawn-out team fight, whereas these top laners, they are not looking for that. They are looking for absolute explosions. The same for Arn on the Lucian as well. Worth mentioning, LDR finished for 1xN. That is a crucial break point. He can now sort of whittle away at YSKM. Still definitely not easy to kill, but at least killable. We'll see what his 4th item will go, whether he ends up going for a Zeal, trying to get a bit of attack speed. I'm going to hold that thought, though, because Beichuan is playing Secret Agent right now. I'm not sure YSKM is really the target they want to go on, but it might be the target that they have regardless. Beichuan starts the fight. Stun there. Knock up as well. Buffered by the W. And he just pulls him to the other side of the universe.
Their base is gone.
In the meantime, IG are just pushing through the base. Ucal alone defending. And I like the idea, but you just can't pick Cassante. He's just not that target.
And right, like, I understand he is the only one that's isolated, but it feels like at that point in time, that's when you call off the play. And you have to do something else. Now IG going to try and pivot back to threaten this dragon. YSKM is off to the side now with no ult.
Hoya's threatening him. Beichuan is in, and Tianzhen can't get in for the smite. So dragon taken by TT. They lost an inhib for this. What else can come of it? YSKM, no ultimate for the time being, and the same for Tianzhen, same for Arn. Ucal, the only one with an ultimate on cooldown for TT, perhaps an opportunity to fight around this barren area. Both teams posturing pretty aggressively.
Still, I wouldn't imagine that IG start looking for a fight right now. Okay, I guess they are. So many key ults down. No culling. We don't have Tianzhen with his ult either. YSKM's is gonna be up soon. But I feel like YSKM's and Tianzhen's especially is like so important for IG to be able to maintain their formation in a fight.
I felt a little bit too close for comfort there for Arn. Nearly got caught by the flick back. YSKM soaking that as a TP. YSKM behind enemy lines. Beichuan just goes in instead, but qiuqiu can't save him. 1xN now, next target. He pulled straight into the team. He's still alive somehow, but finally falls. Hoya will be next. YSKM, take a bow. We certainly do know you at this point. Ucal, last man standing and last to be cut down.
Great game from IG. They fell behind early, but they came back strong through YSKM's play on a tank.
Absolutely. I mean, is tank the word for K'Sante? I feel like there's a great many words that could be used to describe K'Sante. He definitely does a lot more damage than a tank realistically should. It's going to be game one for IG. Fantastic.
Yeah, and YSKM now 4-0 on the pick so far this split. They have not lost when this man gets his hands on the K'Sante. Just great to see from IG. Things are looking dicey early, but honestly, a lot of that is just kudos to TT, right? Him using the Weaver's Wall to make a lot of those plays early around bot side. Yep. But a couple mistakes came through, and IG are not a team you could be sleeping on. Again, they're 2-1 right now for a reason. Yeah,
absolutely insane stuff from IG. And crucially, TT starting off strong. That early, I mean, kind of both teams starting off strong, right? That scrap awarded a lot of kills to both AD carries. But then we saw Ucal popping off. YSKM literally taking that game into his own hands. Miraculous stuff from IG. We're going to jump into a break, then we'll find out what TT have to answer back.